Miss.
No, I want to file charges against him for parental kidnapping.
But that's not where you, this is not where you do that. Okay.
Well, the police will not help me. So this court is
so
where
hold on. So
Miss said I would get a chance to talk.
Miss Danesky.
Well, ma'am, you said you'd give me a chance to talk and I have not.
But that's not what we're doing right now. Okay.
In this video, a court hearing unfolds as a judge reviews a motion for recusal filed by Ms. Denise. She argues her rights were violated when her protective order was dismissed, leading to serious consequences. Tensions rise as legal arguments and procedural disputes take center stage. Here's the interaction.
Danesky, please state your name for the record.
Lindsay Danesky.
All right, parties, raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you give this court will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Okay.
All right, very well. So I have a couple of motions in front of me, and I think it's probably going to be best to deal with the, there's a motion for recusal that was filed by Ms. Danesky. And Ms. Danesky, I'm going to give you an opportunity to speak to that motion, as that's probably a motion that should be heard first prior to the other motions. And that's prior to addressing any matters as it relates to this case on any issues.
If I could, Your Honor, first of all, as counsel for plaintiff, I would like to thank Jasmine of the court's office, because we were never served with the response for my motion to strike the pleadings, and we were not served with the motion to recuse and another motion, ex parte pickup for the kids. And kudos to the court's office and for Jasmine in sending copies of those three things to us. I just wanted to place that on the record. And coupled with that, it's my understanding that my office checked Odyssey, and there was a motion filed on the 27th of June, and there were, I think, 2 filings on the 29th of June that we have never gotten service on what was filed on the 27th or the 29th. And I just wanted to place that as a matter of the record before this honorable court. Thank you so much, Judge.
Okay, the court appreciates that. Ms. Castro, that's Jasmine Castro, is my judicial assistant, and she works very hard for the people of Wayne County, for which I've been elected to serve in this capacity. So, Ms. Danesky, what I will say is this. When you're representing yourself in pro per, which means you're self-representing, whenever you file something with the court, you have to serve copies or send copies to the other side. And so I'm just going to recommend that you do that, because what happens is if they're not getting the motions timely, then the matters, depending on the position of the other side, could be adjourned. So I don't know what Mr. Fanta's position would be this morning, but I do think it's important that I address your recusal motion. And so I'm going to allow you, Ms. Danesky, to proceed on your motion for recusal.
The reason why I didn't serve the other parties was I was asking.
Oh, so we're not on the serve side yet? Let's deal with the recusal motion first.
Yes, ma'am. So the reason why I was asking for the recusal is because when we had the PPO hearing to have the PPO dismissed that I had filed against Charles Nerslick, I was denied my due process. I was discriminated against by you because I had an illness, and I told you that I had an illness, and I told you that I couldn't take my medicine that was required for me to proceed because of my, I have ADD and I have autoimmune disorders. And so if I can't take my medicine and I was sick and dehydrated for 3 days, good cause to have the hearing rescheduled. And so I was not able to, articulate why I needed to have that PPO kept in place. And then you dismissed it. And then I asked, well, before you dismiss it, I would like my evidence, my actual physical evidence to be looked at. And you refused me a chance to have the evidence looked at. And then because of the dismissal of that PPO, it caused Charles Nerslick to harass me mercilessly. Him and his family terrorized me to the point where I had to leave my home. And I was trying to go to a domestic violence shelter because the harassment, it was like a mob style harassment had happened so fiercely against me in my own home, of which him and his family have conspired to evict me from unlawfully. And they locked me out of the house, even though the eviction wasn't complete. They would go in there when I wasn't there and destroy my things. And this was all because of that dismissal of the PPO. And then because of the dismissal of the PPO, he was able to harass me, and he took a state court order that was vacated by Washtenaw County and lied to the FBI and had the police lie to the FBI to have the children illegally kidnapped from me. And I have not seen them since May 5th. He's been illegally withholding my children, our children, since, or not May 5th, I'm sorry, May 6th, when the order was vacated on the 5th. And none of that could have happened if the dismissal of that PPO would have been heard properly, and I would have been given a chance to defend my position and my stance with my evidence with a sound mind, which I couldn't do when I was so ill and I had the stomach flu for 3 days and I couldn't take my ADD medication or my autoimmune medication for 3 days. So I was not in a proper state of mind to testify, and that was a violation of my rights to have accommodations under the ADA and my right to due process under the 4th, the 5th Amendment, and also the 6th Amendment and the 14th Amendment, equal treatment under the law. So unfortunately, maybe you didn't realize it at the time, but you grossly violated my rights, and it led to the unlawful kidnapping by Charles and his co-conspirators of taking the children, and he's been withholding the children from me illegally and concealing them from me since May 6th.
Okay, Ms. Doneski, I've heard your motion. I don't know if you know what the purpose of a PPO motion is. First of all, the PPO motion will be against you and not the children. You did not sufficiently allege facts that indicated that your life was under any imminent threat. And so by you failing to show that, your PPO was terminated, and that was by me. Are you okay? So, and so because you failed to show sufficient evidence that your life was in imminent danger or that there were threats, then your PPO was dismissed. And PPOs are not to be used to prevent fathers or mothers from visiting with their children, from parenting time. There are court.
Show my evidence. I specifically asked you, ma'am, if I could show my evidence, and I never tried to keep the children from him.
And so as to your motion for me to recuse myself, it is denied.
So why didn't you let me show my evidence? You said I failed.
So I responded to your motion. I've denied it.
Well, I would like to know why you think that it's.
I just stated on the record.
Can we get the recording of that court proceeding so you can see?
It is available to the public. It is available to the public, and so you can obtain the recording. Your mouth is moving, Ms. Dineski, but we don't hear anything. I don't know if you have an issue where it appears you have an issue with your sound, because you're not muted, but your mouth is moving that I'm noticing, and we can't hear anything that you're saying.
I said, ma'am, you refused to allow me to show my evidence. So it's not fair for you to say I did not show evidence when I had evidence submitted and you refused, you literally refused to look at my evidence. And on top of that, I was not competent to stand trial, and I had good cause for a continuance of which you denied me under the ADA Title II because of my disabilities. I could not take my medication, which affects my neurological and physical ability to put my thoughts together because I have ADD due to a head injury as a child. And so I was dehydrated, I was sick, I couldn't take my medication, and I could not competently state my case that day because of my illness. And you did not give me the accommodation that I was required under the law. And you refused to allow me to submit my evidence that would have proven my case. And then you dismissed the PPO in violation of my rights. And just for the record, I never used the PPO to keep the children from the father, who he hasn't even established paternity yet.
Ms. Dineski, that's what you represented to this court. You represented.
Well, like I said, I was
the
incapable.
PPO to prevent Mr. Nerswick from.
No, I did not. I never did that. I did that for my own safety. I didn't even add the children on there except for that he couldn't take them without a court order. And that was what I was told to do by the people at First Step. I represented that I was scared of him due to his attack of me. I had pictures of the bruises. I had witnesses that show that wrote affidavits leading up to it, and all of my evidence.
I've made my decision.
Well, then how do I appeal that? Because
so the court does not give legal advice. Okay, you're representing yourself in pro per. And so you're held to the standard of a licensed attorney of Michigan.
Actually, I'm not. That's not what the rules of pro say.
I would not give a lawyer legal advice on how to do a case. So
well, I'm not asking
that being said,
advice. I'm asking for what my recourse is.
I've made my decision.
And why did you make your decision? For the record, I'd like to know.
I've already stated it on the record. Mr. Fanta, you may proceed on your motion.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. And again, for purposes of the record, I really want to compliment the court and Jasmine Castro on this matter for her sensitivity in sending us responses that Ms. Dunsky has filed. Otherwise, we wouldn't have them. Your Honor, I have a motion.
Mr. Fanta, to proceed on those today. I don't know when you received them, but are you prepared today for those?
Well, no, I'm not, Your Honor. What I would very much like to do is, I'm conscious of the court's time. I have filed a motion to strike defendants' pleadings in response to the complaint that we filed for custody on May 15th. And I would just highlight for the court number 4, which has a number of different subsections to it. She responded with 15 pages of allegations against my client in a haphazard and disorganized manner. Allegations that and a request for a guardianship, and they're all enumerated in item number 4. And she concludes then finally that the plaintiff is not the biological father of the 2 minor children. So it's an
I never said that, sir. No, I did not.
He
hasn't established paternity, so please do not lie and misrepresent what I've said.
Ms. Dinunsky, I will give you an opportunity to respond, but you have to let Mr. Fanta complete his.
Well, I object to dishonesty. So if he's dishonest, I will object.
But
I object to what he just said.
But you can't object to what someone has said unless you state a basis And
I just did. It was a lie. You can look right at the paperwork, and I did not conclude anything. I said the only thing I concluded was he has not determined paternity.
So objections have to be as to the rules of evidence. And so you have to know the court rules of evidence in order to do an objection.
Well, you can instruct me as a judge because I'm a pro se litigant, and you can instruct me in procedure according to the rules.
So I do not give legal advice. I'm holding you to the
advice.
Standard of a lawyer today. Okay.
Well, and that's a violation of my rights because I'm not held to the
to represent yourself in proper. And so you are not going to be able to interfere with what Mr. Fanta says again, or this court is going to hold you in contempt. And so I am warning you, Ms. Danuski. Mr. Fanta, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would appreciate it if the court would honor my motion to strike, give what the court thinks would be a reasonable time for the defendant to answer the complaint for custody, instruct the defendant that on the pleadings, in addition to the case number, counsel is to be listed with his name, address, and email and contact numbers, and that a proof of service that we have received the response, the answer to our complaint. Secondly, I would like to have this honorable court issue an order of temporary custody for the children for Mr. Nerswick. In Exhibit B, which is attached to the pleadings that we filed, is a detailed statement, review, and recommendation from the Washtenaw County Circuit Court, friend of the court.
That's inadmissible. It was from a vacated order. I object to that, Your Honor. According to the rules of evidence.
You will get a chance to respond, Ms. Danuski.
So should I just write down my objections? I thought you object as they come up.
No, that's not how that works. Not under these circumstances. This is a case management conference. Gotcha. Mr. Fanta, you may proceed on the friend of the court. I'd like to know more about that order.
Yes, Your Honor, if I could sketch a bit of background. When Ms. Danuski filed the PPO against Mr. Nerswick, the one that this honorable court dismissed, Mr. Nerswick followed my instructions to the letter, did not go near, wasn't in the vicinity of the premises, and stayed away. He bunked with friends in Washtenaw County, and after the county residence was established by him, we filed a complaint for custody in Washtenaw County.
Mr. Fanta, I'm sorry to interrupt. I see two PPOs here. Well,
Mr. Nerswick filed a PPO against Ms. Danuski.
Oh, I see it. And so the PPO that she had, 23-100812.
That was heard by this honorable court and dismissed by this honorable court.
I understand. What is the status of his PPO against Ms. Danuski?
It's still in existence.
Okay. All right. I see it. I'm sorry. You may proceed on the more information on the family court matter. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. I understand there's a lot of balls in the air on this case. Basically, he had an order for the kids, and we worked with Sumter Township in trying to obtain the kids from a lawful court order.
So let me ask you this. I'm going to ask questions. So there was a Washtenaw County order. And is that order still standing? It's still in place?
The Washtenaw County case was dismissed, Your Honor. That's why we filed the case before Your Honor in Wayne County. He got the custody of the kids from the Washtenaw County.
So what was the basis of that case being dismissed in Washtenaw?
There were three. If you would like, I sent you a letter.
No, it's not your turn. Mr. Fanta, are you able to give me that information, or your client is under oath and he can give it to me too?
Well, that would be fine, Your Honor. This case is massive in its exhibits. I have an exhibit there. I'm just going through it now.
Mr. Nurswick, can you give me, so if a case is dismissed, I mean, yes, it appears that Mr. Nurswick had the kids based on an order that was out of Washtenaw County, but without me getting an understanding as to why that case, Ms. Dunswick, not your time, it's the plaintiff's time. I'm going to come to you, okay? Okay, so had you served her personally with a process server, Mr. Fanta?
Yes, she had proper service on the Washtenaw.
Go ahead, Mr. Fanta. I'm going to mute her until it's time for her to speak. Don't unmute yourself, Ms. Dineski. Go ahead, Mr. Fanta.
Yes, she had proper service of the Washtenaw County case. I'm trying to get the person here. Just give me a second, Your Honor. I'll try to find.
So it wasn't dismissed for improper service, but
No.
it was dismissed for something. And I guess the thing is, there's an order that was in place, and then the case gets dismissed for an unknown reason. And both of you are here today in Wayne County. Now, Mr. Fanta, is your client a resident of Wayne County?
Yes, he is, Your Honor.
All right. And so I am going to allow Miss Dineski to speak. So, Miss Dineski, you may unmute yourself and you may speak to what has been said. Now, what I do want I want to specifically know, why was the case in Washtenaw dismissed?
I did send the copy of what I had sent to the court to you guys via email this morning as to why Judge O'Brien vacated the order. There was 3 points of which it was
Hold on 1 second. Let me pull the order.
It was found to be void. And I think I sent you the order as well.
Hold on. Did you send it to Mr. Fanta?
Well, he has a copy of it as well. Yeah, when I sent,
I'm going to ask that you email it to Mr. Fanta right now. So
yeah, he had a copy of it originally when I first sent it to the judge. I think you can see he was copied on it.
Okay, I don't think he has it right now. And so what I want you to do is I want you to email it to Mr. Fanta right now.
Okay, got it.
I don't have any of the Washtenaw County case with me here.
I don't have the email, Ms. Dineski.
Oh,
How did we send
forwarding it to, like, I'm forwarding it from where I sent it to you.
She sent an email at 8:14 a.m. It was 2 of them.
Okay, did you send it to Mr. Fanta?
I'm trying to find his email in here. Hang on 1 second.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to do today.
Here we go, the law shop. So the court order was vacated due to fraud upon the court, lack of jurisdiction, and improper service. And
okay.
I think
where do you live, Miss Dineski?
I was living in Belleville at the time, and so the kids were living in Belleville at the time, and so the case should have been filed in Wayne County, but because I had the PPO, he lied about his address to get it into Washtenaw County. But even if he had been in Washtenaw County, it goes by where the kids were living, and we were living in Belleville at the time. So
okay, so here,
in a way,
well, let me ask you this. Where were the kids? What was the, well, let me ask you this. Before the case was filed in Washtenaw County, where were the kids?
With me.
Mr. Fanta.
So the lawyer.
Mr. Fanta, you're muted.
Yes, Your Honor.
This is what I want to do. This is what I do. I do parenting time orders at case management. Okay. I'm going to refer this case to Fame. But because it takes a while for the court dates to come, I'd like to have a parenting time schedule in place. So was there regular visitation with how old are the kids?
3 and 4.
And was there
And
regular?
he's been withholding them from me for 2 months now,
Ms.
ma'am.
Danesky, hold on.
No, I want to file charges against him for parental kidnapping.
But that's not where this is not where you do that. Okay.
Well, the police will not help me. So this court is.
So hold on. So
I said I would get a chance to talk.
Ms. Danesky.
Well, ma'am, you said you'd give me a chance to talk, and I have not.
But that's not what we're doing right now. Okay.
Well, I would like to see my children. I haven't seen them in 2 months.
Ms. Danesky, were there regular visits with Mr. Nurswick prior to the filing of the Washtenaw County case?
He refused to see them. He refused to talk to me about them. I contacted his lawyer, which I also sent you the emails.
I'm saying prior to the Washtenaw filing, you said the kids were with you.
They were with me, and I tried to get him to talk to the kids. I even contacted his lawyer to set up facilitation of him talking to the kids through, because I had the PPO, and I was not trying to keep the kids from him at all. I wanted him to have communication with the kids, and he had showed no interest in communicating.
Okay, Mr. Fanta, your response to that?
Your Honor, everything that Ms. Danesky has just shared with the court is not factually based. It is blatantly untrue.
So tell me, Mr. Fanta, why I should not put a parenting time order in place.
I sent you the
email until you all go to Fame.
If I may, Your Honor, when we filed the Wayne County case, we were conscious of the parenting time needs, and my client and my office paralegal met with Sumter Township. We tried to work with them so that we could have parenting time. Hanging over this case is a South Carolina case, 2018 DR-233056, where Mr. Kenneth Danesky, a former spouse of the defendant in this case, was awarded custody of their 2 children. There is a court order from that case holding her in contempt with a 6-month jail term, and that is Appendix E in my pleadings that are filed with this honorable court, and she took the kids and fled to Michigan.
I absolutely did not. That is a lie. I object to that. That order is actually a void order as well.
So here's where I'm making a decision today. Mr. Nurswick is here today. He's hired counsel today. Mr. Nurswick has been at all court appearances.
So have I.
I'm going to refer. You have.
So can I please see my children? There's absolutely no reason for me to not see my children.
What was just represented to me.
But that isn't true, ma'am. I have a right to defend that.
And not only that, your words indicated that you were filing a PPO to keep Mr. Nurswick from his kids.
No, I was not, ma'am.
And so there was not.
No, ma'am, I did not.
So here is what we're going to do.
Ma'am, excuse me, can I please have my due process and say, I sent you an email this morning. Yeah,
but you did not send it to Mr. Fanta. He did not.
It was an email.
So Mr. Fanta, I'm going to give you an opportunity to review everything.
It was an email I sent to Mr. Fanta, ma'am.
Ms. Danesky has supplied this court with. The court is just getting an email this morning at 8:14. And so in the meantime, while the court is reviewing these motions that are supposed to be submitted to the court timely, not the day of, then
they're not motions. They were just
you can't send anything to this court that's not sent to the court timely. Because
what I'm saying is that the letter that I had sent was a letter that I sent to Mr. Fanta showing that I had goodwill. I never tried to keep my children, ma'am.
I am doing an order. I'm referring you to Fame, Mr. Fanta.
Yes.
Or get an order from Miss Jasmine Castro, my judicial assistant.
There has to be a good reason for you to keep my children from me, and there is absolutely no reason. I have been their sole caregiver since birth. They were ripped away from me illegally based on an order that
So
the
you'll
judge.
get a referral for fame.
But why I need to see them
gonna
now.
give you
I have
another
a right
court
to
date.
see. They have literally kept my and the Sumter did not
Your
work.
request motion to strike is going to be held in advance. I'll take a look at that, Mr. Fanta, the next time you come, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
In the meantime, I have to send you all to fame. And the children.
Your Honor, I would like to state that I've never kept to him from the children, and that email that I had sent this morning, ma'am, was me showing that I wanted him to see the kids.
My clerk gives me a date as soon as she.
So I don't understand why you're saying that I used the PPO to keep him from the kids. I never did that.
That's what you said.
No, I never said that. When did I say that?
You said as a result of your PPO being terminated by me, he came and got the kid.
No, he came and harassed me. That's not what I said, ma'am. You are I never said those words.
Okay, well, you know what?
I said, ma'am,
going to fame so that this court
I don't
can
know
find
what
out
fame
what's
is,
going on.
but the thing is
the Family Assessment Mediation and Education Department.
So will I be able to see my children? They have been withheld illegally from me in violation of 750.350A for 2 months. I haven't seen them. I haven't talked to them. He won't communicate to me about them. He won't tell me how they are. He won't tell me where they're at. That's illegal. That's a felony crime that he is committing. And this court is responsible to stop that crime from and violating my parental rights when I have not been found guilty of any crime. I've not done anything but be an excellent mother. He has been abusive to me. And what I said was, I left the house to go to a domestic violence shelter, not to keep him from the children, but he was terrorizing me because you dismissed the PPO unlawfully. That's what I said. I never said I filed a PPO to keep those children away from him. As a matter of fact, I have proof in phone calls and emails showing that I made goodwill effort despite the PPO. And I have text messages to him saying, I want you to be able to speak to the kids. And he refused. I said we could go to mediation. He refused. I asked his lawyer, does he want to talk to the kids?
You're about to get the opportunity to go to mediation now. I'm about to mute you, Mr. Daneski.
So,
Your Honor, if I may, the only thing.
What time? Hold on 1 second. Let me get a date.
September the 27th at 10:45.
So she's saying September 27th at 10:45. Okay, you may.
In the meantime, though, when can I see my children? They've been withheld for 2 months illegally. And that is a violation of my parental rights. So can I see my kids this week?
Mr. Fanta, I am going to order supervised visitation through GrowthWorks.
Why do I have to have supervised visits, ma'am? There has to be an actual legal reason. There's no lawful reason for me to have supervised visits with my children.
The kids once a week, supervised visitation.
So why do I have to have supervised visits, ma'am? You need to give me a lawful reason.
Your Honor,
a lawful reason why I'm being
Your Honor,
having my parental rights obstructed.
Go ahead, Mr. Fanta.
Yes, Your Honor, counsel would suggest that when this honorable court has a moment off the bench to work with the judicial officer, Ms. Castro, and look at appendix.
Actually, this case needs to be dismissed. As a matter of fact, this needs to be dismissed immediately because he's filing with unclean hands.
Go ahead, Mr.
He's filing, ma'am, I forgot to say, when you said I was going to have a chance to talk, this case needs to be dismissed because he has filed it improperly. He hasn't established paternity yet. So this can't even be filed. And he's filed with unclean hands.
Mr. Fanta.
Can we please talk about the dismissal before this goes to fame?
Your Honor, I think the court has an idea of what plaintiff and plaintiff's counsel has been dealing with as this case has evolved. And the only thing we accept the court date of September 27th at 10:45 back here before this honorable court. We accept the referral.
I don't accept it. This needs to be dismissed immediately.
It's very difficult for counsel to.
Well, you've had a chance to talk, and I was told I was going to get a chance to talk, and I did not. I got a chance to talk for 30 seconds, and which is why I'm interrupting, because my due process, again,
GrowthWorks every week.
Ma'am, I would like to know a lawful reason why this is not being dismissed based upon the fact that he
Mr.
has not
Fanta,
established,
did you
he
hear
has not
what I
established
ordered?
paternity.
I'm
I
sorry.
do not consent to the jurisdiction of this court. This needs to be dismissed
Mr.
on
Fanta,
the rules of Michigan rules of procedure.
Mr. Fanta.
Yes, Your Honor. Again, if counsel could summarize for the court, we accept the court's date of September 27th at 10:45. We obviously accept the referral to FAME. We accept a weekly supervised visit with GrowthWorks. And I understand the court in deferring a hearing on my motion to strike, although I think it would be in the interest, Your Honor, and I do think you have enough evidence to strike her response so that when we do meet on September 27th back before Your Honor, we do have an answer to the complaint for custody that comports with the court rules. That's the only
I
suggestion.
understand. You're correct, Mr. Fanta. I'm gonna
Well, I
strike.
can have it served to him if that's what needs to be done, but I want to quote
So I'm
rule
gonna strike.
2.116.
I'm gonna grant you
from
your
summary.
request. Ms. Castro, if you
Ma'am,
can issue
this-
an order granting his request to strike the pleading that she has submitted. And so that's done, Mr. Fanta.
Thank you very much.
I'm requesting, according to rule 2.11.
Go ahead, Mr. Fanta.
The only other
When
thing.
am I going to get a chance to talk?
Mr. Fanta, you're gonna have to continue to talk. Don't stop.
Thank you,
Will
Your
I
Honor.
get an-
Thank you, Your Honor. Very briefly, I'd like to have you sign an order that has been submitted to this honorable court for temporary custody for plaintiff. Everything
I'm
else.
motioning for a dismissal, Your Honor,
No, I'm
when
not
I will
gonna
have
do
a chance to be heard on that.
it. Mr. Fanta, I'm not gonna do a
I
temporary
would like a
order
chance
for custody. I need
after he's done speaking. Will I have a chance?
I need an order. What I typically do is parenting time, and then when you all come back, I'll have a recommendation from Fame.
Ma'am, will I have a chance to assert my dismissal?
I don't really have a basis. Well, this court is not satisfied. I understand Ms. Daneski.
You have to give me a chance to present that.
She's very rude, but I need a
Ma'am, I am not
I
trying to
need
be rude.
mediation to do a family assessment.
I would like to be able to have my due process.
So I don't do
Ma'am, that's
custody
asserting.
orders at case management. I'm not even temporary. Did you hear what I said, Mr. Fanta?
I was able to glean that, Your Honor. Thank you so much. We will abide by the court's rulings.
I would like to
And so
be heard on the
let me
dismissal. Please.
think about for a second, because I want,
This case should be dismissed and I have a right to be heard as to why, ma'am.
I'll submit an order for temporary sole legal and sole physical custody, Mr. Fanta. I will grant you that.
Your Honor, you should
And
have
why
that.
is that being granted? Because I have a right to.
And so, but I do want the visitation every weekend, the kids visiting and readily available to visit with Ms. Daneski every weekend at GrowthWorks.
Absolutely, Your Honor. And I think we did submit an order
So
that
if you submitted it, you can reach out to Ms. Castro, make sure I'll have it, and she'll get it to me the way that we do in this courtroom for me to sign, okay?
that would be fine, Your Honor.
I don't sign those orders prior to a hearing, prior to at least your case management, because I'd like to know what is going on the case prior to signing any orders as it relates to anything that is sold. If it's joint, then yeah, you can get those signed. If it's joint legal,
Your Honor,
physical, then I'll sign. But I'd like to have an opportunity to have a hearing on matters before I do that. But I will sign your temporary sole legal and sole physical custody.
Your Honor,
Thank
I would like to be able to
Okay.
present my case for dismissal,
Ms.
present my motion for
Ms.
dismissal,
Daneski?
because this this
So,
was filed improperly, so
understand-
may I please have a chance?
Understand
now?
your response to the answer is not adequate and not according.
You didn't give
the
me a
court
chance.
rules.
I would like to read what I have here. I have a right
No.
to assert my case. Why are you
Yes.
denying me?
So
This
there
is
are
why I asked
certain-
for a recusal, because you're denying me due process. You denied me due process in the last case.
So there are certain
I'm here and I'm
procedures that you
prepared,
have to
ma'am.
follow.
Excuse me, ma'am.
and
I
you
have a right
not
to
followed
speak.
them. And
I
so
have followed them.
Shane will be.
I can motion
contacting-
for a dismissal at any point during this hearing, and I am now currently
Shane
motioning
will be
for a
contacting
dismissal.
the parties.
And I need a lawful reason
to
why
work
my
out a date.
dismissal, my motion for
Ms.
dismissal is being.
Dineski, do you have an
refused.
email address that you can put in the chat? Do we have her contact information?
I
We
would like
need your email address.
2.116 says that I can motion for a dismissal
We have an email
anytime,
address.
and I motion that because of
Mr.
fraud
Benson,
upon the
make
court,
sure
and I
when you
motion
speak,
for a
we
dismissal
have-
based upon he has not even established paternity yet. There is no paternity established, so he cannot, there is no, the party asserting the claim lacks the legal capacity to make the claim. This court does not have subject matter jurisdiction over this case because he's coming to the court with unclean hands, where he lied to a court, which you can contact Washtenaw County Court and verify that they vacated the order. They vacated the order because of he lied and because I showed proof that he
Ms.
had tampered
Dineski,
with
can
my
you
mail.
put your email address?
There's no information. Claim.
Oh, we
You
don't
guys have
any-
my email address,
We
but the
don't
thing
have,
is that,
we do not have any information for you, Ms. Dineski. I need you
well,
to.
the opposing party has failed to state a claim on which
The
relief to be
court
granted.
is
So this
asking
this
you
needs
to
to be
put your
dismissed.
email address in the chat so that you can get notices.
I don't even know where the chat is.
Tap the screen and press chat and put your email address in there.
So I would like to know a lawful reason why, based on what I'm saying, why
I
this
don't
is not
see your
being
email
dismissed.
in the chat. Have you figured out how to do it, Ms.
I'm
Dineski?
typing it in right now.
Please do.
Your Honor, if when we leave the honorable courtroom, if I could connect with the court's judicial attorney, Jasmine
We have
Castro.
to do that when we get off the docket later this afternoon.
So I would like you to entertain my motion for dismissal, and I would like you to hear what I have to say, and I would like to have my due process. So I
You're
would
gonna
like
be
for it to
allowed
be
to
heard.
visit with your kids every weekend at Growth Works.
Well, I want to know why I have to have
No
supervised
issue.
visits. There's no reason. You have no reason to make
As
me
well
have
as you are
supervised
being
visits.
referred to Fame.
So,
Mr.
ma'am, excuse
Fanta,
me,
submit
I
your
would like
order,
to have my
temporary
right
sole
to due
legal and
process
sole
heard with
physical
this.
custody. I will sign the order.
If he has not established
I will
paternity,
submit
how
it,
can
Your
he be
Honor. Thank
allowed
you.
to file for
Okay, thank
custody,
you.
ma'am?
This meeting has concluded.
Ma'am, are you going to continue to deprive me of my due process?
This meeting
I'm
has
motioning for a
concluded.
dismissal. Can you please give me a lawful reason why?
Thank
Can you
you,
give me
Your
a
Honor.
lawful reason why you're not
Recording
allowing my
stopped.
dismissal?